India, a land of different landscapes and rich biodiversity, a big crisis faced due is deforestation. Who forests once whole subcontinent in spread were, they now scary speed from less becoming going are, and their place concrete jungles and fields coming are. This essay, India in Deforestation, for many aspects to explore is, its history, reasons, and far till going results to seize is. Big Himalayas from Western Ghats, for tropical rainforests till forests ecological balance maintain doing an important role, play they carbon sinks of work rainfall patterns to regulate soil erosion stop and plants and animals of thousands species to home give but humans of activities of reason from this important ecosystems and being for verge on Deforestation for results very bad only environment only not but country, for social and economic structure to also affect as forests end happening so those lakhs of people for livelihoods also end happening who those on depend It's besides biodiversity of lost nature for delicate balance for about a danger is. India of its forests, for with relationship complex and always changing is. Ancient times in, forests to sacred groves considered was, deities and spirits of home, them natural world of the important part seen was, and onki resources sustainably used done where. Colonialism. For coming from this relationship in a Bada change came. British Raj has forests to mainly revenue and raw materials, for source for form and scene. British Empire, for engines to fuel, give for big forest areas to timber for clear to give and went. This period in 1878 of Indian Forest Act came, which colonial government to forest resources to control and exploit doing of full power to given. Freedom, for after afforestation and conservation for some efforts were, but forests on pressure increasing is. Population of rapidly from increase, industrialization and agriculture of expansion, deforestation of reason made. Green revolution has agricultural productivity to increase, but monoculture farming practices to promote by problem and also contribute done, which soil quality bad happened and biodiversity less happened. India for cities filling every year their population increasing going is. This rapidly from increasing urbanization land resources on very pressured dal is, which reason from forests on encroachment happening is. As cities expand becoming so home, roads and infrastructure for forest to clear do give and goes is. Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore as megacities of growth environment for very body cost on happened is. These cities of air quality very bad is. Vehicular emissions and industrial pollution from toxic haze making is. Irony this is of which forests from these problems to less doing and help get, was, those to development for name on end done going is. Urban areas in green cover of loss humans of health and well-being for very bura is. Trees natural air purifiers of work harmful pollutants to absorb and oxygen release They shade also give urban heat island effect to less and mental well-being to promote Unki without, cities concrete ovens making go heat stress and respiratory illnesses to increase India of economic growth and development of quest often forests of cost on happened is. Dams, highways and mines as big infrastructure projects, for big forest areas to clear done went is. These projects to progress for important told goes is, but unki environmental impact to often ignore less by told goes is. Dams making from big forest areas Pani and Dubi go wildlife displace happens is and ecosystems disrupt becoming highways and railway lines forests to break animal populations to separate and roadkills of risk increase mining activities only forests to only destroy not but water sources and soil to also pollute jiska affect humans and animals both of health on pada is. Government for rapid industrialization. For push from forest areas in and as pass industries put this pollution, deforestation, and local communities for with conflicts were who forests on its livelihoods for depend challenge this is of development needs and environmental protection for between balance how make. Section 5. Wildlife of trouble progress. For place losing were. India in wildlife of amazing diversity is, majestic Bengal tiger from elusive snow leopard till. But, as is forests less happening so these animals for habitats also less happening Habitat loss, poaching and human-wildlife conflict of reason from many species extinction for verge on are, their numbers less happening as is. Iconic Bengal tiger who once whole Indian subcontinent in very more were, now only forests, for small parts and remain went are. Deforestation and illegal wildlife trade of reason from unka prey less happening are, which their survival to danger is. Similarly way, one-horned rhinoceros who only Assam in found go are, habitat loss and poaching pressure face do are. Deforestation ecosystems. For delicate balance to also disrupt does is. As top predators and becoming are, eat prey animals without control. For increasing are, which overgrazing and forests of and more degradation happens is. Biodiversity. For is loss of effect, whole food chain on pada is. Whole ecosystems of health and resilience to impact, does is. Section 6 Climate change, destruction of a vicious cycle. Deforestation climate change of a cause also is and a result also. Trees atmosphere from carbon dioxide absorbed by global climate to regulate doing an important role play do are. Jab forest to cut you burnt goes is then this stored carbon atmosphere and release happening goes is which greenhouse effect increasing is. India already only climate change for impacts experienced do is increasing temperatures on seasonal rainfall patterns and extreme weather events in increase happening is deforestation. These problems too and worsens is because forests of carbon absorb doing and local climate conditions to regulate doing of capacity less happening goes is forests. For loss from soil erosion also happens is, which land floods and droughts for more vulnerable happening goes is. Its effect agricultural productivity and water availability on pada is, which lacks of people for livelihoods impact becoming are. Climate change a global challenge is which for greenhouse gas emissions to less doing and planet, for forests to protect doing for a global effort of need is. Section 7, Socioeconomic impacts, livelihoods lost, communities displaced. Deforestation. For profound socioeconomic impacts are, especially those communities on who its livelihoods for forests on depend do are. India in locks of log, especially rural areas in timber, fuel wood, medicinal plants and other non-timber forest products. For forests on dependent are. Forests. For loss from these communities. For income. For sources end happening go are, and their traditional way of life also disrupt happening goes is. Indigenous communities whose forests for with deep-rooted connection are. Deforestation for impacts for especially vulnerable are. Deforestation of reason from forest-dependent communities. For displaced being from social unrest, land and resources. For conflicts and increasing poverty happening could is. These communities. For rights to recognize to and them, forest management and conservation from related decision-making processes and involve two necessary is. Section 8. Conservation efforts. Hope of array. Deforestation of serious realities. For despite, hope is. Indian government, non-governmental organizations and local communities. For with together, country for forests to protect and restore doing. For many conservation efforts input happened is. These efforts in afforestation and reforestation programs, community-based forest management initiatives, and national parks and wildlife sanctuaries as protected areas making included is 2006 of Forest Rights Act, who forest-dwelling communities. For forest resources on rights to recognize does is, a landmark legislation is who local communities to its forests to protect and manage doing of power dita is. Awareness campaigns, educational programs and sustainable livelihood initiatives also responsible forest use and conservation. To promote doing for important are local communities to involve by, women to empower by, and conservation efforts to development goals. For with integrate by, India a more sustainable future of towards move can is. Section 9. Conclusion. Collective action. For a call. Deforestation. A complex problem is which far till going results are. Is crisis to address doing for a multi-pronged approach of need is these which government policies, technological interventions, and individual and community levels on behavioral change, included is. We forest to only revenue for sources, for form in Dekni, for short-sighted view from far Hatkar, A more holistic perspective adopt will have to who their ecological, social and economic importance to recognize does is sustainable forest management practices, responsible consumption patterns, and conservation for a collective commitment, India of green heritage to coming next generations for safeguard doing, for important are, India for forests of future our hands in is. Let's now do these important ecosystems to protect doing and all, for a sustainable future ensure doing for.